Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Hopefully you had a great Easter weekend. I know we did. This was my first big family holiday food fest gathering.
Oh.
Since.
The new diet?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So, that was hard.
Yee.
But what I did was, I just ate what was there. That's what I did. But just tiny portions of it. You know.
Were you checking your blood sugar every 5 seconds?
I was. Yeah, I was. And it messed with my blood sugar a bit. But, I mean, I had tiny portions. But I did have one regular-sized dinner roll. And maybe that's what threw me off. I don't know. But anyway.
But you're okay?
Yeah. I'm still alive. So it didn't kill me.
All right.
Yeah. It takes a couple of those, I think. And then it does kill you.
It takes two
yeah, it takes
Hawaiian
two.
King rolls to put Pat Gray down?
And then you're down. And then you're down for the count. Somebody posted a clip of Joe Biden from Easter weekend 2021. So 2 years ago, when this devout Catholic gave America this heartfelt message.
Okay.
And if we do, and I'm sure we can proclaim the palmist.
What?
Palmist.
With the palmist who wrote these following words.
The palmist.
The Lord is my strength and my shield.
Strength?
There we go. The palmist.
The palmist. That's a guy who reads palms? Is that who that is?
Don't know.
Golly, he's
that puts
bad.
you in the Easter
man.
spirit, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was beautiful.
He's good.
He's great.
I want my damn Trump back.
Yeah, no kidding. Take that at any time. Anytime you want. We got to start out, though, the week with our bingo card. If you missed it on the... we did it on overtime on Friday, but if you missed it...
It's pinned to the top of Pat Unleashed on Twitter if you want the bingo card.
Then it goes a little something like this, but that doesn't count, even though that is a bingo square.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't count because what we're doing, the bingo square
so there's nothing off the
right
board.
Nothing off the board
even
yet.
though Lance went ahead and played one of the squares.
Oh, he did?
Right? So are we saying there's no squares covered at this moment?
Wow, I didn't even notice that. No squares covered yet.
No squares. All right, no squares.
So you're going to have to do it again.
And if you get bingo, you call 888-900-3393.
Oh, it's I want my gosh darn Trump back.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so it starts in the upper left-hand corner. By the way, that didn't count either. Making the apocalypse fun starts us off. We got Jeffy. How dare you? Then we have the laugh track.
Oh, the laugh track. Makes everything better.
Doesn't it, though?
Well,
it makes things...
I've read the news today, and it's tall order for even a laugh track to handle.
I know. We've got some amazing things. That's the laugh track. Okay, sitcom laugh track. Renewable goo. I miss him like my dad. Spoken song lyrics, which could happen at any time. Then there's, I asked my mom if there's a word for that, and...
What's that sound like, Lance?
Lance is looking right now.
I give you my word as a bite.
That's definitely not it.
That's not it.
All right.
I asked my mom if there's a word for that. It's a little girl.
Yeah.
If that helps. Maybe it doesn't.
Well, Martin really helps you.
I asked my mom if there's a word for this,
nice
and
job.
she said there is.
We got
hypocrisy.
I think you need to give Martin a hard time later.
Keith.
I contend, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Then we have, let's see. I'm just not prepared for these particular sound clips.
Well, you've had computer issues all morning.
Yes, I have. And it's pissing me off. But we got this.
I hate white people.
Oh, no.
All of them.
Right.
Every last iota of a cracker, I hate it.
Man, those were such simpler times,
Weren't they, though? I mean, it's almost nostalgic. When you almost long for that time with the Black Panthers. Jeffy uses his hand as a map. Always fun. Then we got the fabulous mummy voice, I mean, this is a 2,000, 3,000-year-old voice. 4,000.
No wonder they killed the guy.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Rat's anus.
How many shows are you going to get a rat's anus reference? No, none. That's what I thought.
No other show than this, right?
Nope, this is the
There's
one.
not another show on the planet that will give you a rat's anus reference. I'm not your trained monkey. Then we lost him. We lost him. I give you my word as a Biden, which Lance
I give you
always-
my word as a Biden.
Keith says,
seems legit.
And then I want my Trump back.
I want my damn Trump back.
Jeffy, how about no? Then the horror scream, which I think is a goat, actually, right? It's not a goat.
I think so.
I think it is.
I don't know. I don't know if it's legit or if it's CGI audio.
That's great. Traffic and weather together. Certain je ne sais quoi. George Bush saying,
First, let me make it very clear. Poor people aren't necessarily killers.
Right.
Just because you happen to be not rich doesn't mean you're willing to kill.
Not necessarily, anyway. But you might. You still might.
Tortured line.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I don't know what he's trying to get across there. I think that had something to do with terrorism.
Yeah,
poverty and
stuff,
terrorism and whatnot. Then Jeffy, let me eat.
Let me eat!
Keith says.
Oh, what's that now?
And then it goes a little something like this. So that's a fun bingo sheet, and we'll see what happens this week. Oh, if you get bingo during the course of the week, you just call 888-900-3393. If you're the first one to do that after bingo, and we find out that you do, in fact, have the correct bingo, then you win $30 worth of merchandise from PacRayShop.com. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
a dozen cookies from Keksi.com.
That's right.
Keksi.com. KEKSI.com. Now, yesterday on Fox News Sunday, Senator Lindsey Graham sat down with Shannon Bream to discuss China and Taiwan and what might lie ahead.
Okay.
I'm fearful that the Chinese may be setting conditions to blockade Taiwan in the coming months or weeks, and we need to respond forcefully. If they do that, we need to blockade oil shipments coming from the Mideast to China.
Wow.
And let them know if you blockade Taiwan, we're going to cut off your oil. We need to train more aggressively Taiwanese forces so they can fight like the Ukrainians. We need to put nuclear-tipped missiles back in our submarines. Biden won't do it. The military's asked for nuclear-tipped cruise missiles to be put back in submarines like the Russians did. And we need more forces in the region. I think if you do those things, you could deter a blockade.
It sounds, though, like a ratcheting up of the situation.
Sure
and
does.
if Taiwan is not fully equipped, trained, armed, ready for this,
right.
We don't want to be leading to World War III.
Well, nobody wants a World War III, but what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world where an island called Taiwan could be taken by China? 90% of the high-end chips are made in Taiwan. They'd have a monopoly on the digital economy. Do you just want to let Putin take whatever he wants in Europe? I don't want to live in that kind of world. There's no reason for this. Listen, I believe in a one-China policy, but I would be willing to fight for Taiwan.
Wait a minute. How do you believe in a one China policy, but you're going to fight for Taiwan? Do you know what a one China policy is? That means Taiwan is part of China. That's what they want. I don't get it when they keep claiming, yeah, I'm all about a one China policy, but Taiwan's got to remain independent. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. But you know what else doesn't make sense? Is we're fighting proxy wars on two different fronts now. Or we're about to, it appears. I mean, if Lindsey Graham has his way, obviously we're going all in.
Oh, if Lindsey Graham has his way, we're fighting 8 wars at once.
What a warmonger the guy is.
Oh, he is the worst.
Wow.
I can't take this guy.
Sheesh. What kind of world do you want to live in? You want to live in a worm? I don't want to live in a world where it leads to nuclear war. That's not exactly a world I'm excited about, frankly. But maybe that's just us. I don't know. I don't know. Taiwan, I want them to remain independent. I think that'd be great. But when it comes to sending troops or fighting another proxy war, I'm not okay with that. So we're going to be at war with Russia and China, essentially, if Lindsey Graham has his way. Wow. What kind of world do you all live in? I don't know. Maybe one that we don't have to fight everybody else's battles.
Well, he was just talking about training the Taiwanese. I mean, and maybe helping them out a little bit. He wasn't talking about going there and actually fighting for them, was he? Or was he? What's the next clip say?
Okay, very quickly, because I want to get to a lot of other topics. Chairman McCall discussed with Aisha Hasni there about the possibility of authorizing force and the possibility of sending U.S. troops to Taiwan. Would you support that scenario?
U.S. troops.
Strategic ambiguity is not working. China, after Afghanistan, believes that the store is open, that you can go in and take whatever you want on Biden's watch. So the question for the Congress, should we have a defense agreement with the island of Taiwan? We don't. Should we have one? But yes, I'd be very much open to using U.S. forces to defend Taiwan.
Oh, my
because it's in
gosh.
our national security interest to do so.
Of course.
Oh, my gosh.
There's not a war that Lindsey Graham doesn't like.
He's never met a war he doesn't love. That's great.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
wow.
That's fun, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fun. Now, that was yesterday morning. And since then, there's been some developments over in China.
Yeah?
In Taiwan. China, of course, is doing... they're just doing drills, though, where they surround Taiwan and fly up to, what are we up to now? What did I see? I think 6 dozen fighter jets flying over the island there. And warships have the island surrounded. But they're just drills this morning, Pat.
And how is it that Taiwan is not prepared for this militarily? Why haven't they been getting prepared? Why is it that we have to prepare all of the defense for Taiwan? They've known this is coming for how long? Forever. Since the beginning. And they should be prepared of their own volition. We shouldn't have to prepare them. We shouldn't have to be the ones prepared for war with China and Taiwan. They should be prepared.
So would you rather go to war to defend Biden family crimes and biolabs run by America in Ukraine, or for cell phone chips? Because I'm going cell phone chips. I'm like, give me my cell phone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend the
If there's one thing worth risking World War III nuclear war, it's cell phone chips.
It's my access to Twitter.
Yeah.
You
got to have that. You got to have
on my hand. Like I don't want to have to do the laptop thing. Like, I want access to the app on my phone with my thumbs.
You can't carry your laptop around and tweet mean things to people.
Thank you.
I love Chinese people, too, but come on.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
So that's where we're at in America.
Wow.
We're deciding if we're going to go and defend biolabs in Ukraine or cell phone technology in Taiwan. I say let's move all of our efforts over to Taiwan.
Isn't it crazy how many things are heating up around the globe all of a sudden right
almost
now?
Like it's by design.
It's almost like that. Yeah. It's almost like either the Biden administration is egging all of this on purpose, or everybody just looks at them and sees how weak they are and says, "Okay, now's our chance."
Well, yeah, and
now's our chance.
Don't expect your friends to come along and back you up in any fights, America. You've got Emmanuel Macron meeting with Xi for 6 hours just now, and say, "Yeah, we're gonna need to not always be with America on stuff."
Wow.
I mean,
do we have any friends anymore?
I mean. Of course, that's happening, what Macron is saying about alliances between Europe and the United States, at the same time that BRICS is replacing the dollar by the minute.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. dollar is getting just squeezed out at every corner of the planet. It's not good.
If you're unfamiliar with BRICS, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all combined together in this alliance now. That it's sort of like their version of NATO.
Yeah, and what Saudi Arabia is now aligning with freaking Iran.
Yeah.
Iran and China, and just looking at us like...
And Turkey and Iran are starting to talk about doing something about Israel. They're saying that the Islamic world must be united against Israel. Oh, okay. Well, there's another issue that we may have to deal with.
But everything's going well in Ukraine, right?
Oh, yeah, things are good there. U.S. officials think classified U.S. documents about Ukraine's war effort that appeared online are likely real and the result of a leak, but that some of the documents may have been altered before they were posted.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, well, that's what happened. Look at that. Look at that. We got ourselves a spy in the Defense Department or a leaker or something.
Great.
Not good.
Not good at all. The documents posted in recent days as photos on Twitter and Telegram outline Ukraine's military strength, the state of the conflict, casualty figures, and the burn rate for the HIMARS long-range rocket systems that the U.S. provided to Ukraine. Some of them carry a March 1st date. The documents seem to reveal what the U.S. has learned via signals intelligence, intercepted electronic communications about Russian plans and operations.
Oh, boy.
This is really not, that's bad.
Yes, it is.
Former U.S. intelligence official said there could be serious fallout if a stream of signals intelligence on Russia has been exposed. It's not known who's behind the alleged leak, but when we find out, this traitor needs to be charged with treason.
Why would you want to be an ally of the United States at this point in time?
I don't know.
Honestly. I mean, they're constantly... Boy, the world is being completely redesigned.
Sure is.
As we speak.
Sure is.
We're going to a dark place, America.
Thanks to the Biden administration and their America Last efforts, everybody's treating us that way. Everybody. Nobody cares about the United States and our military power, our economic power. Are we even a superpower anymore? Starting not to feel like it.
I mean, we have burned our allies so many times. And something like this, I mean, you're going to get people killed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is coming on the heels of, of Afghanistan and the debacle there perpetrated by this administration.
Yeah.
And, it's a new world order. And I guess the Russian national anthem is now going to be playing everywhere. Either that or the Chinese national anthem. Is it as catchy, do we know? The Chinese? We should probably look up the Chinese national anthem.
Not sure if I've ever even... Well, I probably heard it at the Olympic Games, I guess.
We're going to have to look for that because we're going to have to choose sides.
We'll have to learn that one, too.
Yeah, which one do you want to recite?
There's a new movie coming out. It opens Friday. It's called Nefarious. It's done by the same people who did God's Not Dead and Unplanned. If you saw those, you know how good they are. This one promises to be even better. It's kind of like a C.S. Lewis book, The Screwtape Letters. It was written by the Blaze's own Steve Dace, and it's about a psychiatrist who is called into a prison to meet with a convicted killer who's about to be executed. The killer says he's a demon named Nefarious.
I'm so excited for the audience to get a chance to see this coming up on Friday. It is so good, so worth your time, and you won't soon forget your experience in the theater.
Okay, so you're going to have some great conversations afterward. Nefarious opens this Friday. Mark the date. Get your tickets now at whoisnefarious.com.
Yeah, you got to find you got to get your theaters to carry it, because some areas they don't even have it available in the theaters. You got to call these theaters right now and say, "Bro, what's up? Let's go get Nefarious."
Do I need to start with bro?
Well, if it's a dude,
I can't
if it's a chick, well, you don't even know these days if it's a dude or a chick.
True.
You got to ask them first of all before I talk to you about this movie. You need to get, how do you identify? And then once they answer that, then you proceed.
So it's either bro, dude, or now. Can you call a female? Because I do hear people calling other females dude.
Yeah,
which doesn't seem to work to me.
It's kind of universal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, whoisnefarious.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Thanks for being here. We actually had the Chinese national anthem at our disposal.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, now we got to see which is more catchy.
Yeah.
The Russian national anthem or the Chinese
Does it come with lyrics too?
Yeah, I think it does.
Does it? All right. So
Let's see.
Here's a little sampling of it.
Oh, no. Got some horns. I wouldn't have expected that. Oh, okay. Arise, ye who refuse to be slaves.
With our flesh and blood, let us build our new great wall. The Chinese nation faces its greatest danger.
Okay.
For each one, the urgent call for action comes forth. It's awkward. Arise, arise, arise. Millions with but one heart, braving the enemy's fire.
Okay.
Braving the enemy's fire. March on, march on, march on, on! Brilliant. Arise, ye who refuse to be slaves. Except for the Uyghurs, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't matter.
With our flesh and blood, let us build our new great wall. And then they just repeat.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, they ran out of lyrics. I don't know. What else can we say about China? I don't know, just repeat the first verse, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I think the Soviet national anthem has it beat. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
That's
that one better.
Yeah,
if I have to pick one.
More stirring. Over the weekend, there was a shooting at a mall in Delaware. Now, Delaware has some of the strictest gun laws in the country.
They sure do.
Didn't stop this particular shooting. There was also a shooting in Florida. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods answered some questions about that.
Sheriff, you mentioned the gun. Do we know how the suspect got a hold of the weapon?
Car burglaries.
Car burglaries.
Car burglaries.
Ain't that right? Okay. All the gun laws we got in place didn't prevent it, did it? Neither will any new ones.
Love this guy.
Because here's the fact. The bad guy's going to get a gun no matter what law you have put in place.
Right.
These juveniles shouldn't even possess a handgun. But they did.
But
and I'll go back to you. Add your question. A simple burglary, as some people will say, but I don't consider anything simple when it comes to a burglary. If the law allows me, I'll plaster their face up on this page, up on my page, up on media. I will hand it out if the law allows me, because parents have the right to know who their kids are hanging out with and preventing this.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, here's your Delaware gun laws. You ready? They've banned assault weapons in Delaware.
Oh.
There are magazine restrictions.
Okay. How many? How many?
That I don't know.
You don't know.
Background checks for all sales, including private sales in Delaware.
Pretty much everybody has that.
So there you go. And they have a red flag law.
Oh, okay.
And so, but
so
yet
you can
kids
narc on your neighbor if you want.
Still able to get guns there, kids.
Jeez. Car burglaries. Oh, well, that was in Florida, though. You can't. That can't happen in Delaware.
That doesn't happen. No,
that can't happen.
Don't try to conflate.
Because you know why? It's against the law to steal things, especially guns, in Delaware. It's against the law. So they don't want to break the law. Sure, they're willing to kill somebody with the gun if they get one, but they can't get one because it's against the law.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, don't forget that. Speaking of all this, where is the manifesto that we heard about from the very beginning in the trans killing in Nashville? Still no manifesto. Why? Apparently the FBI is withholding it for whatever reason.
Oh, that's the FBI for you.
In the immediate aftermath of the murders, police informed us the obviously emotionally disturbed shooter was transgendered, something that was ratified by the video of the killings at the Christian school. Further, they told us that she had left behind documents and a manifesto that explained her actions. Then, as if by magic, we haven't heard a word about it anymore. We're done. We don't hear anything. And we don't hear about being transgendered in any form, in any way or shape. And it's not just one news outlet that's not interested in this. It's not just CBS, who is widely known to have decreed the word transgender should be omitted in its coverage of the crime. But, the rest of the mainstream media is ignoring it, too. NPR recently labeled state affiliated on Twitter, does not mention the word in its recent update on the crime, nor does it apply a pronoun of any sort, male, female, or they, when referring to the shooter. So I guess they're just trying to keep this asexual now. And as for the FBI, there's no word so far on when they're going to release the manifesto in original or even redacted form. Okay. So
you can tell the moment when the federal government took over for the Nashville police, because that's when the information stopped coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of this and the transgendered shooting in Nashville, we mentioned briefly on Friday that there was another proposed or planned mass shooting. This one in Colorado. What is going on in Colorado? How many mass shootings have they had to deal with? It's amazing. But a trans-identified male teenager is in custody on suspicion he was planning on carrying out mass shootings at schools in Colorado Springs, Colorado. William Whitworth is his real name. 19 years old, was arrested on charges that included suspicion of attempted first-degree murder after he admitted to planning to commit shootings at schools in Colorado Springs. Whitworth was born a male but uses she, her pronouns and refers to himself as Lily. Eric Ross, spokesperson for the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, confirmed Whitworth is transitioning from male to female. Police were called to Whitworth's residence after his sister called and claimed that he was behaving violently and had made references to school shootings. Thank goodness for her. Yeah. That's exactly what you should be doing, but so often it just doesn't happen.
Well, I didn't think they were serious. I didn't think you'd really do it.
He's a big talker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was just speaking in anger, that's all.
I'm sorry, she
was just
a big
speaking.
Talker.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Got to get that right.
When police arrived, they found Whitworth drunk in his room, which was littered with filth. Huh. So, messed up as this person is, they're not good at housekeeping? That's shocking.
Hadn't fully made that transition yet, I see.
No.
Still a dude.
The house, I think we mentioned this too, the house was in extreme disrepair. He'd been so angered that he was putting holes in the walls with his fist. And there was, dishes piled up. And the cops said it was so littered with trash that they could barely walk in the home.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Numerous containers filled with half-eaten food with mold growing inside, numerous alcoholic beverages and beverage containers laying around the house. And this person also had a manifesto.
Huh.
So this manifesto apparently had a kill list on the people that she was planning to kill, he or she was planning to kill. They asked this person, so why did you want to shoot these people? And the answer was, why does anybody want to do it? Bizarre.
Oh, that's
bizarre.
That's a good response.
Yeah. Why does there was no specific. I guess the person is a Trump hater. Had them listed in their manifesto, and of course you're not hearing about that at all. Nobody's talking about the thwarted killing in Colorado, the thwarted shooting that was about to take place by yet another transgendered person. I think we mentioned this Friday as well. That would have made 5. Well, 4 transgender and 1 non-binary person in the last few years involved in these shootings. That seems a little disproportionate in relation to the population.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Someone might want to look into that. Maybe.
Yeah. See if there's something going on there. Wow. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. Joseph tweets, Joe Biden sucks.
Yeah!
Very succinct.
Got right to it.
Yeah. Blunter Hayden. So how much money are we going to send to Taiwan? Yeah, that's, indefinite. We'll just keep sending it as long as it takes. MC Pockets, our 17 years in Afghanistan has me feeling real confident in fighting two world powers.
Ain't that the truth?
Toothpaste words. These pieces of crap in D.C. are okay with war because they have zero to lose.
Yep.
It's not their butts on the line. I altered that word a little bit.
Oh.
It's our families that are fighting, not theirs. DMXDM, maybe we focus on fixing our domestic oil situation before we drop $1 trillion on a new war. Okay? Yeah, okay with me, but certainly not Biden. Stinky Biscuit, we are the bad guys in this war.
Boy.
Screamin' Matter, or Screamin' Mater. I thought I was listening to the lead-in music to one of the old spaghetti westerns when the Chinese anthem first began. Huh. Really? So, it's like... Oh, yeah! Yeah, that's a good point.
Or beef. It's what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Good point.
It does start like one of those old spaghetti westerns.
Awesome.
Not so much when they start singing, but, right at the beginning.
Good catch.
Dirty Mule tweets, I'm shocked that the Chinese national anthem seems to be so cheaply done. And Screaming Plants, the musical. Why does the FBI have the manifesto? This was a state crime, unless, of course, the manifesto indicates targeting of a specific group, making it a hate crime.
Oh, that's a
little sniff going on there.
What an interesting point there. Why would the feds be involved if a federal... Could it possibly be a hate crime?
Could it be?
Because I'm not hearing that. So therefore, hand it back over to Nashville and let them release the manifesto.
Well, there's no telling what's in the manifesto. It could be virtually anything. You know what it probably is, and they're protecting Trump supporters. I'll bet it's a MAGA Republican, and they just want to protect them.
Right.
Don't you suppose?
Yes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I give you my word as a Biden.
Since the victims of the trans killer in Nashville aren't important to the Biden administration, we want to make sure at least we say their names.
Yeah.
And the 9-year-olds were Evelyn Dickhouse, 9 years old again, William Kinney, and Hallie Scruggs, all 9 years old. Mike Hill, 61, Catherine Kuntz, 60, and Cynthia Peake, 61 years old. So those were the 6 people senselessly murdered by this trans person.
Yeah, it's amazing what animates this Marxist administration. You've got Kamala Harris, who went to Nashville, not for any of the funerals, but to show support for those Democrats that helped with that mob.
Unreal.
Take over the
You mean
Tennessee
the
Capitol.
insurrection in Tennessee?
That's right.
Yeah. And now they're having a huge fit over expelling 2 members who instigated the thing, who led the whole insurrection.
Yep.
But here's Kamala.
Should have been a third.
From Nashville.
It wasn't about the 3 of these leaders. It was about who they were representing. It's about whose voices they were channeling. Understand that. And is that not what a democracy allows?
We're not a democracy.
Democracy says you don't silence the people. You do not stifle the people.
What does that have to do with us?
You don't turn off their microphones when they are speaking about the importance of life and liberty.
Importance of life to the left? Shut up, you. Shut up.
That is not what a democracy does.
What does that have to do with us again? What are you doing? So what? We're not a democracy. Why do you keep talking about what a democracy does? You should go make that speech in England. That's a democracy.
What a rancid
she's the worst. They're all so bad. Just incredible. And so she continued to praise the lawmakers who instigated all of this. So now Joe Biden has praised those rogue lawmakers as well. President thanked them for their leadership in seeking to ban assault weapons and standing up for our democratic values. The officials thanked the president for his leadership on gun safety and for spotlighting the undemocratic and unprecedented attacks on them this week in the Tennessee State House. So Biden invited them to the White House.
Oh, goody.
How many of the January 6th insurrectionists has he invited to the White House? Not that many, I don't think. Interesting that the insurrectionists in Tennessee are fabulous, and other people are getting, extended sentences in prison, like the guy who just got 7 years. Of course, he did have some issues. I will say he did more than parade. He had illegal weapons. He had a couple of grenades on him. Didn't shoot anybody or blow anything up, but he illegally had those weapons apparently. Meanwhile, in Austin,
oh boy,
you might recognize Austin as being the capital of the state of Texas. But there was this case of Daniel Perrey. Daniel Perrey was working as an Uber driver in downtown Austin when he found himself in the middle of one of those BLM mobs in 2020. So he was being stopped by the mob in the street.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was trying to drive through them slowly and get to wherever it was he was headed.
Yeah, pay close attention to that picture, that circle. That is the guy who, he effed around and he found out. He raised his AK-47.
Yeah, so one of the protesters had an AK-47.
See how he's holding it there?
He raised it at the driver. The driver happened to be armed as well, and he shot and killed him.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, well, he didn't have to drive in this area. He could have gone a different way. Bro, it's a road.
Oh, my gosh.
It is a public road, and you drive on those.
Well, he was charged with murder
by a Soros DA.
And convicted.
An Austin jury.
Found guilty in Austin of murder. So, Daniel Perrey seemingly headed to prison, but...
Greg Abbott, governor.
Greg Abbott may not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is get him pardoned. Now, the pardon has to be suggested by the Board of Paroles.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so he's already gotten in touch with them and encouraged them to send the name to him, and he'll sign it, and the guy will be
the Austin police had already cleared Perrey of this. They already said, yeah, you're good.
Oh, wow.
It was the Soros-backed DA that pushed this through. This guy that we're about to play this video of, he kind of explained the situation. I think it makes it easier to understand. I really appreciate this, yeah.
There are a lot of people saying foolish things about the shooting in Austin, Texas a few years back. This picture clearly shows the Antifa BLM terrorist has his weapon employed. That's significant. Here's why. This is carrying. Not a fan of people running around with long rifles like this, but it's legal. This is employed.
Right.
That matters. You know why? Bang, bang, you're dead. Bang, bang, you're dead.
Ugh.
Bang, bang, dead.
Yeah, okay.
Bang, bang, dead.
All right.
That's about a half a second.
Yeah.
That's how much time Daniel Perrey had to react in self-defense and save his own life.
Pardon
Daniel Perrey.
And it is what Greg Abbott, our governor, intends to do. So hopefully that process will happen. But in Texas law states that the Board of Paroles has to suggest it. So the governor can't just randomly say, all right, I'm going to pardon him and pardon him, her, whomever. So he will sign it, though, if it comes to his desk, and he wants that to happen quickly. It's amazing in Texas that was not only tried but convicted.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've lost the cities in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Austin, of course, the forefront of lost cities in Texas.
Yeah.
If this pardon doesn't come through, it's life in prison for Daniel Perrey.
Jeez, man. Wow. For defending himself for self-defense against a person with an AK-47. What are you supposed to do? Get out of the car and give him a kiss? Well, there's probably some who say, yeah, that's exactly what he should have done. Then he would have diffused the situation. Okay.
Well, he diffused it all right.
He did. He did. And part of the problem was he left the scene of the shooting, but of course he did because the mob would have descended on him.
Right.
So he left, and then he called police.
Went to police,
and told them what happened. So I don't know. It's amazing in this day and age. It's amazing that it's perfectly fine for a mob to be in the middle of a street and stop all traffic, and you just have to take it.
And have a guy with a long rifle ready to shoot you.
Right.
But did he shoot you, Daniel? No. I mean, seriously, it's where even in the state of Texas, you're not allowed to defend yourself? Okay.
Well,
we're insane.
That's a big part of the reason that Greg Abbott is considering the pardon. Because we have the stand your ground law, which says you can stand your ground and defend yourself. And that's what the guy did.
Yep.
You know, for years, you've heard me talk about iTarget Pro. And if you have one, I'm about to take you to the next level. If not, this new product is something you really need to get. You know, we talk about gun safety and gun rights all the time. And this can help you with both. If you've ever seen competitive shooters practice timing drills on the range, imagine being able to do that at home. Anytime you want, never spend a dime on ammo. That's what the all-new iTarget Cube does. The iTarget Cube, it's fully compatible with your existing laser bullets. You can buy one or upgrade to the 3-pack for a really unique training experience. Compete with friends, practice clearing drills, or use random mode to test your ability to react, all while the system times every shot you take. And right now, you'll save 10% and get free shipping when you use the offer code PAT. So just go to itargetpro.com. That's the letter I, then targetpro.com. It comes in almost all calibers, from 9mm to 223. So you can train with your AR-15 while we're still allowed to own them. This is the easiest and most cost-effective way to train, and pays for itself in a day. That's the letter I, then targetpro.com. itargetpro.com, offer code PAT.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Jeez. Then another person who apparently was not armed and able to defend himself, former San Francisco fire commissioner, was attacked with a crowbar the day after Bob Lee was stabbed to death.
Oh.
Just out of control.
Yep.
Crime in these areas. And this was a homeless person, too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. A homeless person with a metal pipe and a couple other homeless people helping out. And this guy is a fire commissioner, is that right? Mm-hmm. Ended up with a skull fracture. Yeah. Former skull fracture, broken jaw, lacerations, fighting for his life. I mean, there he is with the cracked skull right there in the hospital. Let's see.
Wow.
I wonder if there's an update on his condition. I need to look that up.
So he was attacked just a day after Cash App founder Bob Lee was stabbed to death by an unknown assailant. So he was leaving his mother's home at 7 p.m. in the Marina District when he was accosted by a man waving an industrial metal crowbar. Ugh. San Francisco police later arrested Garrett Doty, 24, who was booked on assault with a deadly weapon charges. The prominent attorney and a friend of the victim said that he was at his mother's home when he noticed Doty and two other transients blocking the driveway. So when he asked them to move, he was bludgeoned in the back of the head.
Oh, that seems like a reasonable response to someone asking you to, hey, could you move so I can back out my car?
Well, how dare you ask them to move?
Well, because I don't want to run them over.
It's a free country. I can stand wherever I want.
But I need to move my car. I just want to back out of the driveway, and then I'll go on my way.
Wow.
I mean, this country is,
it's incredible. So he was actually seen swinging the pipe and walking around the neighborhood after the attack. It's dangerous here. And the fact that this could happen to a big guy like Don Carmignani tells us that it could happen to anybody in any neighborhood in San Francisco. Isn't that the truth? San Francisco's gone to hell. Portland, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Baltimore. I mean, you name the big city.
Detroit.
Chicago. Yes. New Orleans. Man. I mean, there's just nowhere safe anymore. And, while we've talked about the fact that violent crime has gone way down since the 80s and 90s, it's trending back up now because of the lawlessness, because, cops are being defunded. And I really feel like their hands have been tied. They're worried about responding to any situation because they'll be put on trial for it.
Well, and don't forget, in most of these big cities, there was a big defund the police movement several years back, and now you're starting to see the fruits of that. Austin is one of those for sure. Remember, did we play the clip last week, the drunk driving incident where the guy sobered up because it took police so long to respond?
Talked about it. I don't know if we played it.
They didn't respond because they're so short-staffed in Austin, a city that has defunded police.
Yeah, they're way short on cops, and so the response time is way, way, way down. Like you said, did you say 2.5 hours? That's what it took.
It was over 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, it was over 2 hours to get to the scene of this accident where the guy's drunk. And so he sobered up in the meantime, and he passed this field sobriety test.
It was a head-on collision, I think, with a family, right?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Fortunately, they weren't killed.
Yeah.
No one was.
Why would you go to a city anymore? What, you got a sporting event you want to go to? It better be during the day, and even then you're taking a chance.
Yeah.
I tell you, I don't see any redeeming value in going to a major American city anymore. Why? It's not worth the risk. They've been run into the ground for, in many cases, half a century or more by progressives.
Yep.
And they are no place to be.
And mentally ill people have taken over the inner city now.
Yep.
Because authorities aren't doing a thing about it.
Yep, they're in our inner cities and in Washington, D.C. specifically.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
A couple of tweets from Hogasm. They haven't released the manifesto yet because they haven't finished writing it yet.
Amen.
Or rewriting it.
Yep.
Julia Haynes tweets, I am a Tennessean, and I support the expulsion of the 2 insurrectionist leaders. Joe Cool Snoopy, when you pull out a gun, you either shoot or get shot. And High Plains Stranger, was there a permit for that crowbar in San Francisco? I think they had a permit, but they didn't do the 3-day waiting period.
Oh, could have stopped it.
Yeah, could have stopped it. Dang.
Okay.
That's why we need to, just do common sense crowbar reform. That's common sense,
Yeah, I think you were the forefront of that long ago, right?
Yeah,
before it was even a thing.
I think in the late 40s we were talking about that.
What was your chant again for that? I forget.
Yeah,
It was like,
I don't remember.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, we need common sense crowbar.
Gotta go. I think that's what we said.
Them crowbars
hey,
gots to go.
Ho, ho. Them crowbars gots to go.
There it is. Well, I mean, I'm just saying you were a pioneer.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that the city of San Francisco didn't listen to your urging like 3 decades ago.
If it saves just one life.
That's right.
It's worth it. Also in Texas, there was a ruling by a federal judge suspending a drug that induces an abortion. It's the, RU 486 thing or whatever. AOC didn't like the ruling. So she went on CNN to suggest that, you just ignore it. Don't worry about it.
When you've heard the news this afternoon, a couple hours ago, what did you think?
Well, I think rulings like this, and I think we've seen from the FDA and also from activity in Congress that some of these rulings, I think we've been preparing and anticipating for there being these egregious overreaches by members of the judiciary appointed by a right-wing Republican Party whose goal for a very long time was to just pack these courts with partisan judges, often underqualified or completely unqualified for their role. And so there has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling.
That's all you have to do. Ignore it.
The courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
I think
it means lawlessness.
The interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to enforce, to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
But do we want to live in a world where a government can decide to ignore a federal court
no,
ruling?
of course. I do think that it raises
it's just the ones we disagree with.
Important questions. And I do think that when we look at, and there are serious questions that the FDA and the Biden administration is going to have to figure out and how exactly we map this out.
What if we all just start ignoring rules and rulings and laws we don't like? What if we just ignore them? How would that be? That would lead to something really wonderful, wouldn't it? Like a paradise on earth is what it would be.
They love their judicial activism until it bites them in the ass.
Yep. Yep.
And that's if you want to call this judicial activism, which, I mean, you had doctors that brought this to trial, brought this to before a judge that said this isn't safe. And, that doesn't matter. Science doesn't matter when it's not your science, AOC. Judicial rulings don't matter when they're not your judicial rulings, AOC. And absolutely, they want the law to enforce lawlessness. I don't understand. I mean, and she has no idea what court packing means.
The only thing that matters is that they're allowed to sacrifice babies at the altar of abortion clinics. That's the only thing that matters to them. The rule of law doesn't matter. Anybody else's rights don't matter. It's just, can I sacrifice babies? Can I kill babies?
Death of babies animates that party.
It sure does.
And all I could think of during all these, we got other clips too, all weekend when they were bitching and complaining about this ruling on the left, which, by the way, you have another judge that's allowing it in 12 blue states. So
we should ignore those.
Just go there. Why don't you? You've already funded travel to abortions. So, but all I could think of was Andrew Jackson, Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
The Cherokee land.
Right.
John Marshall has made his decision. Now let him enforce it.
Ignored it. Just ignored a Supreme Court order and chase down the Indians anyway, Native Americans. As much as the GOP hated the judicial activism that was going on in the early part of this century, I don't remember anybody ever saying, well, we should just ignore the ruling. Let's just ignore it. Do you remember that? I don't remember anybody saying that.
Nope, we complained about it, but we didn't say, well, just ignore that because that's just something we don't like.
No, what would happen was people would say, well, elections have consequences. They pick these judges and put them into place, and now we got to deal with it.
I tell you what, the judge that's running the show in Manhattan against Donald Trump, let's go ahead and ignore everything he says because he's given money to Joe Biden's campaign in 2020.
And we don't like that. So we're going to ignore everything the guy says. Jeez.
Anarchy.
Then there's HHS Secretary Javier Becerra, who also weighed in on this.
yes or no, as the HHS secretary, do you want the FDA to enforce the Texas ruling if it is upheld in the short term?
Yes or no, we want the courts to overturn this reckless decision. Yes or no, we want, that women continue to have access to a drug that's proven itself safe. Millions of women have used this drug around the world, more than 60 countries.
But what if they don't act in the interim before you get to that point in the court?
I got to believe that an appeals court, the Supreme Court, whatever court, has to understand that this ruling by this one judge overturns not just access to mifepristone, but possibly any number of drugs.
What if they don't?
No. What if they don't? Good
That's
question.
Speculation that I think is not worth engaging in.
Oh, wow. Are you taking it off the table that you will recommend the FDA ignore a ban?
Everything is on the table. The president
Everything's
said that
on the
way
table,
back when
including
the
lawlessness.
Every option is on the table.
Okay, good.
So I want to ask about the Supreme Court, because you obviously see this. You hope that you win an appeal. It will likely go to the Supreme Court. Do you agree with that?
Good chance.
So how worried are you that this court, conservative majority in the United States Supreme Court, will agree with the Texas judge?
If the role of justices, is to apply the law to the facts and the evidence, the facts and the scientific evidence are that mifepristone is not just safe, but it's effective, and it was properly approved. And so I don't care who the 9 justices are on the Supreme Court or any court of appeal. They should be able to discern the difference between inserting their personal judgment and using the facts and evidence to make a legal ruling.
Do you feel confident that could happen with this court?
I do, but I'm not on the courts. And certainly I'm not on that court where that Texas judge decided to turn upside down the whole process that FDA has used for years for many drugs.
We are now in a period of uncertainty, like this week. What's your message to women and to medical providers who want to get this drug and use this drug?
This is not America. What you saw by that one judge in that one court in that one state, that's not America.
That's not America. No, it's not America where you're not allowed to kill babies.
Right?
That's just not America.
You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order.
What is this from? I don't even.
That man,
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody's put sound effects on your button bar that we just don't recognize. I don't know where that's from.
That's great. Just ignore things. If you don't like the way they're going, just ignore it. Don't worry about it. Because the most important thing is to make sure that women can continue to kill babies.
Yes.
That's the
Otherwise,
most
it's not
important thing.
America.
Not America. No, not if you can't kill babies.
What a strange place to land. I would tell women that help is coming. You will be allowed to murder little babies real soon. We'll get your America back for you. I mean, and by the way, you pointed out the technical name, the RU-486.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's pointed out often enough. I know you've pointed out in the past. How ironic of a name. RU-486.
Right.
86 means to kill, to get rid of. And I was looking up the origin of that, and it's just a bunch of theories, but this is kind of fun. In New York City during Prohibition, when they thought that they were about to get busted, they would say 86, tell the customers to go 86. The exit, the door was 86 Bedford Street. And so that's how it became, like, get rid of, get them out of here, 86. So, and then through the years, that's gone to mean, nix it, kill it.
Yeah.
And so RU-486, it's not a Van Halen album title. It's just a sick name for a drug.
Meanwhile, just a third of Americans say President Joe Biden deserves to be reelected, according to a new CNN poll.
Wow.
As a majority in his party say they would like to see someone else as the Democratic nominee for president next year. On major issues, Biden's numbers are not great. His approval ratings for handling immigration, 35% approve. The economy, 37%. Gun policy, 37%. All significantly below his overall approval rating. On national security, 44% approve. How is that possible? Who are these people?
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job on on national security done wonders.
But he's underwater on everything.
Yeah, everything. U.S. relationship with China, 40% approval. Numbers are about the same. Those numbers are about the same as his overall approval rating. The only issue on which Biden significantly outperforms his overall standing in the eyes of the public is environmental policy, and even there, most disapprove. 46 to 52%. Jeez.
He sucks, and people realize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that was our first tweet of the day, wasn't it? Joe Biden sucks. Pretty much summed it all up.
Right, got to the heart of the matter.
And Senator John Kennedy explained Joe Biden's approval rating in pretty simple terms.
I love him.
President Biden's approval rating ranks right up there with jock itch.
Oh, we got to save that clip. Save that clip. Save it.
Just one more time in his southern drawl. I love it.
President Biden's approval rating ranks right up there with jock itch.
John Kennedy is a national treasure.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. And I'm sure the mainstream media feels that way, too. This is fantastic. A lot of times you would say, cockroaches or spiders but jock itch was definitely the way to go there. That's great. All right, let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. Things are bad and apparently getting worse in many respects. The headlines that you see every day, just unbelievable. So, when might the unthinkable actually happen? Whether it does in a week or 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, you know that somewhere down the line, there's going to be a price to be paid for the way things have been run. And you want to be prepared for that. That's why I seriously recommend that you stock up now with emergency food. You never know when the other shoe's going to drop. And when it does, emergency food will be hard to find. We've already seen shortages at the grocery store. Completely empty aisles in some cases. Now, that's during, fairly good times. What happens if the stuff really hits the fan? So, go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Check out their popular 3-month emergency food kit. This will get you through the vast majority of any crisis. Right now, you'll also save $200 per kit. Get 1 kit per family member so nobody in your family goes hungry. Every kit gives you a wide variety of delicious breakfast, lunch, and dinners, drinks, snacks. I mean, it's really good food. If you act now, you'll claim your $200 savings per kit. You'll sleep better knowing your family won't be suffering the worst if it ever happens. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Get free shipping, too. MyPatriotSupply.com. Go there now before it's too late.
You're listening to Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. Great to have you with us. A few tweets here at Pat Unleashed. Keith's 2 lost hats tweets. Not enough law enforcement in Austin sounds like a good reason for citizens' arrest. From Brad Lincecum, we don't need more crowbar laws. We just need to enforce the ones we have.
That's a fact.
ARHZ, if you have a crowbar in a toolbox, do you need to carry a concealed carry permit? Yes, you need to have that on your person at all times.
Right.
Conservatarians tweets, when Trump is inaugurated in 2025, he should use the AOC standard when a district court stalls the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Democrats will be understanding because, they're doing the same thing now on things they don't like.
Yeah, I mean, Democrats are big on precedent, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Carl Smith tweets, can you help me? I'm looking over my Constitution and can't find the ignore things you don't like clause. Oh, that's right in the good and plenty clause.
Hang on a second.
In that whole section there.
I'm looking.
So
I don't see.
You don't see the good and
I don't see that
good
one.
And plenty
no,
clause.
I don't see the good and plenty clause.
That's
either.
weird. That's weird. I'll have to show you after the show, and then maybe we can tweet that out.
Right.
Sweater Yams tweets Xavier Becerra, women should have access to medicine that has been proven safe and effective, unless it's hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. Yes, sir.
I see what they did there.
Exactly right. Let's see. Masters Golf Tournament over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Absolutely.
Did you?
Yeah.
Start to finish.
Absolutely. Start to finish. And it was at odd hours because there were so many pauses in the action because of the weather.
Rain.
Yeah.
Wind.
They were playing golf at my hours over the weekend, starting really early to try to finish the day before his round, and it just it was a mess. It was, in fact, climate change, such a thing, right? Saturday was the coldest high temperature for a Masters ever since 1934. And
wow!
I forget what the high temperature was. I think it was 49. Anyway, like
that's chilly.
The previous record low, whatever, was 52 degrees was your coldest Saturday. But
and just a couple days before that, it was in the 90s, wasn't it?
So it was hot and humid on Thursday. It was stormy on Friday, which we have some video. Saturday was miserable, cold and rainy, and yesterday was perfect.
And the winner was John Rahm?
Yes.
Is that right? And finishing second, this is kind of interesting, must really piss him off, Phil Mickelson, who left the PGA and went to the LIV Tour, the Saudi Tour. I bet people were not happy. I don't know why they let him compete. Why?
Because he's a former Masters champion. You can't be boxing out former Masters champions. They're allowed to compete.
So are only the former Masters champions involved? I think they all got to play, right?
I think
they open up the major tournaments to the other golf league.
I think if you're highly ranked, then you're invited to the Masters. I mean, the PGA is not going to tell the Masters what to do. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I do know that Phil Mickelson made a nice charge yesterday. If it were a 5-round tournament, Pat, the momentum was with lefty.
And the guy's 52 years old.
52.
52! Finished second in the Masters. Amazing.
Yeah, I forget what the stat was, but he may be the oldest to finish in the top 5.
Ever?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's
interesting.
I might share that with someone else. I forget. But yeah, it was an interesting weekend for sure. And on Friday, when that weather was moving through,
it knocked down some trees, right?
3 pine trees fell from straight line winds.
We have video of that?
Yeah, watch this.
The pink today.
Upper left. Upper left.
Gracious,
watch out!
Oh my!
Holy cow!
Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
Jeez. That's scary because somebody could have been.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Wow.
How close it was to killing people.
And that fell quickly.
Yeah, play the other video as well here.
Giant pines as they fell. You see the group there mingling.
Look how close this person comes to dying.
Look at this. Watch the guy in the umbrella running away here.
They're coming down and...
there he is. Got the umbrella down there. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right by him.
But the fact...
Wow.
I mean,
that's chilling,
isn't it?
There were
people, right there where all 3 of them fell. That could have been...
really bad.
So horrific.
That darn climate change. Wow, jeez.
Climate change, I don't know.
Climate change.
What is it with why are we bringing up climate change?
Well, because that never happened to the Masters before. You ever have 3 trees being blown down?
That's a fair point.
No. Climate change.
But okay, but I just told you that it was like the coldest Saturday.
But again, that's why we don't call it global warming anymore.
I see.
Climate change.
I see.
Still fits.
Okay.
It's making major league sluggers into even better and hotter hitters.
This is so stupid.
Sending an extra 50 or so home runs a year over the fences, according to the Associated Press. And it's because of hotter, thinner air that allows balls to fly farther. And that's contributed a little bit to the surge in home runs since 2010. According to statistical analysis from Dartmouth. Whenever I want statistical analysis
of baseball,
of Major League Baseball, always turn to Dartmouth. Don't you?
Yeah.
For all your statistical analysis.
They call it the Dartmouth Sports Bureau.
They analyzed 100,000 Major League games and more than 200,000 balls put into play in the last few years, along with weather conditions, stadiums, and other factors.
Okay.
What they came up with from the co-author, Justin Mencken, who is a Dartmouth climate scientist, global warming is juicing home run balls in Major League Baseball. It's basic physics. You can't argue with it. When air heats up, molecules move faster and away from each other, making the air less dense. Baseballs launched off a bat go farther through thin air because there's less resistance to slow the ball down. Just a little bit further can mean the difference between a home run and a flyout. Okay, well, there you go. It has nothing to do, of course, with the players being bigger and stronger and faster than they've ever been.
Why are you bringing
has
that
nothing
up?
to do with training regimens.
Are you bringing that up?
You know, I just want people to understand that it is absolutely climate change 100% and not due to the skill level of any of these players.
Does it have anything to do with the ball being juiced, or again, am I way off base?
Way off base.
Okay.
Way off base.
Because, you know, I mean, there's some evidence to suggest that it could
be... That the
be
ball's been juiced since 2010?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then... But again,
that's not it,
That's
though.
not it.
That's not it.
Climate change.
Yeah. Don't be fooled.
They've talked about, like, the stitches of the ball maybe affecting everything, too. But you're saying that, again...
I'm saying that's not happening. I'm saying it's climate change and climate change alone. Okay. Well, the air is hotter and thinner than it's ever been. This is unprecedented territory on this planet.
I'm sure.
Don't tell me about 1,000 years ago, because I don't want to hear it.
I'm sure the assistant professor, Justin Mencken, is a big baseball fan.
Oh,
too,
I'm sure.
right?
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Just when you thought it was safe to not hear from Colin Kaepernick again.
Oh, no. What?
He pipes up with more nonsense. People decide we got to cover that. Amazing. He's bad-mouthing his adoptive parents again.
Again.
He said, I will say, I've had a lot of responses from other transracial adoptees on that front. Wait, transracial? Does that mean you're becoming a different race? Or... Because isn't it biracial?
Yeah.
He says transracial.
How cute that they're now...
Isn't that...
They're now co-opting a group that co-opt a group.
That's great.
Okay.
Just like having similar experiences and having similar family dynamics that they're trying to navigate, and it's because it's so unique, it's very difficult for people to have a nuanced conversation around it and be like, yeah, the people that love you and that you love... can also perpetuate racism. So he's accusing, apparently, his adoptive parents of racism when they adopted a black child. Hello?
Man, this guy is
the worst.
Scum.
The worst. Jeez. People kind of jumped all over that. So your parents adopted you, a black child. They were wrong to do so? You would have been better off had they not adopted and loved you? Fill us in. Or is it more like you suck at football now and can only make money by pretending to be oppressed? Great comment. Glad my sons are nothing like you. One day when you're old and lonely, think back to how you're acting now and understand. May God be your future hope. That's nice. Wow. Grew up privileged, had a great football career. Okay, that's a stretch. And made millions. Now you toss your adoptive parents under the bus. My kids did some crazy things 25 to 40 years ago, but that would not bother me today. But as parents, that's our job. You wrote a book to keep yourself in the public and for attention. I just find you very, very sad. Yeah, that sums it up nicely. Speaking of very bizarre situations, this one might be even more bizarre and perplexing than even the Colin Kaepernick situation. This is the Dalai Lama. I don't know what kind of gathering this is.
I don't know.
But he's sitting there, and a child is with him.
Yeah, they're just hanging
comes up
out.
to him, and they're just hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest is kind of self-explanatory.
Is it?
A bit disturbing. But here's what happened with the Dalai Lama. Okay. Kissing the little boy on the lips.
All right, so he kissed him. All right.
All right.
That's a little weird, but okay.
And now...
All right, you're in my personal space.
Okay.
But you are the Dalai Lama, so okay. Stop staring at me.
And
suck my tongue.
I'm sorry, wait, what?
You heard him. He said, and suck my tongue.
And he sticks his tongue out to the little child, the little boy.
And I don't know if the little kid
sucked his tongue.
Yeah,
because the video stops.
Mercifully, the video stops right there. Suck my tongue.
Okay, what is that?
I don't know. I mean,
how is that possible that you
and
are being filmed? There are people around, right? And you still act like that?
Well, I mean,
weird. I guess he apologized.
Yeah, and I didn't see anywhere in the comments. I fully expected someone to say, "Oh yeah, it's totally common in Tibet to be like sucking on old men's tongues."
That's tradition.
That's tradition
for
right?
Like 8-year-old boys to suck on the tongue of a 80-year-old man.
Take your white-centric views of the world and shove them. No, I'm not saying that.
Nobody said that.
No. Huh. So the Dalai Lama says he wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. Quote, suck my tongue, end quote.
I don't know that's
he regrets
an appropriate explanation of what went on there. I don't know if anybody was hurt. We were shocked and appalled and disturbed.
Well, the office of the Lama released this statement. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras.
Weird.
So
that's weird.
But yeah, so he goes, in the video, the young boy can be seen approaching the Nobel Peace Prize winner before asking, "Can I hug you?" Okay. Oh, so the kid started it.
The kid said, "Can I hug you?"
Yeah. So
and that's when the Dalai Lama kissed him on the lips.
That's when the door opened and the Dalai Lama just busted right on in.
That is weird.
87-year-old spiritual leader invites the boy. Okay, kiss and suck my toe. Gosh, I don't see that he
weird
that he obliged. Thankfully.
Oh, I hope not. Yeah, I hope not.
Oh, wait! Look at this CNN story. Some news refers to Tibetan culture.
Oh, okay. So
about showing tongue.
Oh my God!
But this video is certainly not about any cultural expression, and even if it is, such cultural expressions are not acceptable.
Oh, okay, really?
This is from.
So even in Tibet, they don't say "suck my tongue."
No, this is a children's rights group. Okay.
Okay, good.
So good. Yeah.
Hey, Lama. Hey, how about a little something, for the effort,
For the effort.
And he says,
Hey, Lama.
Won't be any money. And when you die, on your deathbed,
right,
you will receive total consciousness.
And you'll suck my tongue.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Nice. That is nice.
Oh.
Hey, Lama.
I'm just looking here. No one is
man
sticking up for the suck my tongue moment.
I don't know how you could. Well, except CNN, right?
Well, no, I mean, no.
No, they weren't sticking up?
No, they were just quoting a child rights group that said...
It's not appropriate.
The child rights group said, sure, you can stick out you show your tongue, but you're not asking little boys to suck on it.
That is so bizarre. Is he maybe, I guess, trying to be funny, maybe? But it kind of missed the mark by about 200,000 light years.
Let's get him and Biden in a room together.
Oh, man.
Just the two of them.
Oof. For a creep-off?
Creep-off, yes.
A championship creep-off.
Suck my tongue.
Dalai Lama versus Joe Biden.
So we've got a couple of clips that we're going to need in the system, Lance. We're going to need Suck My Tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to need John Kennedy saying, play John Kennedy again, please, in there, if you would, Jake. John Kennedy talking about Joe
President Biden's approval rating ranks right up there with jock itch.
Okay. So a couple of memorable future bingo squares for just two muck and fudge.
Absolutely. All right. Something incredible is about to happen in the Nashville area. Our nation's being torn apart right now, and we can't go on like this for much longer. We desperately need nationwide spiritual healing in the worst way. From the deep-set ideologues that divide us in dialogue to the real-life moments of violence in which, lives are lost, we face total cultural annihilation, if not civilization annihilation. One of the things we need most right now is for men of God to rise to the occasion and become the people God made them to be. That's what inspired Jason Whitlock to organize Fearless Army Roll Call. Now, it happens this weekend. It's an all-day event in Nashville. It'll encourage men to put on the full armor of God and take a stand against the evil forces destroying American culture. Jason will be speaking. He's got a lot of guests that will be speaking, so join hundreds of like-minded men in Nashville. This, I believe it's Saturday, right, the 15th, for this important conference.
Yep.
Tickets are selling fast, so secure yours today by going to fearlessarmyrollcall.com. fearlessarmyrollcall.com and reserve your spot today. It's your last chance because tickets are running out.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Oh, interesting little study. Children of politically liberal parents are more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety.
Oh, I believe that.
Lack a sense of life meaning and have substance abuse issues, according to a family physician with more than 30 years' experience. Dr. Leonard Sachs, who also holds a PhD in psychology, told the Washington Examiner that left-of-center parents are much more likely to be aggressively permissive in their parenting style, leaving children without proper authority. These permissive parents, whose parenting style is also known as gentle parenting.
Oh, there's your problem.
Gentle parenting. Do not want to be seen as controlling or coercive to their children. For example, gentle parents, which proponents describe as patient, calm, and punishment-free, do not train their children to use the toilet, but rather model using the toilet in hopes of inspiring the child to use the toilet and grow out of their diaper.
Wait. No, I don't know if I want to pursue this.
Yeah, I don't
model
either. Model.
They show them using the help.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I honestly, that's the first I'm hearing of it. In a piece for the Institute for Family Studies, Sachs wrote of an experience he had with a 6-year-old patient and her mother, where the little girl refused to open her mouth for Sachs to inspect her sore throat. When he asked the mother to step in to get her daughter to comply, she replied with the pro-abortion slogan, "Her body, her choice."
Oh, no.
Okay, then get out of my office, then. I can't do the examination. Sorry, she's got a sore throat. Get out. Wow.
Okay, so Mom, where do you come down on, same Mom, on getting that child vaxxed, I wonder?
Yeah,
on the old COVID vax.
I wonder. And where do you come down on, well, she won't open her mouth, so you can't figure out what's wrong, so we can't prescribe antibiotics, so she's going to get worse. Where do you come down on that? I think it's because of the discomfort with authority, the doctor said of liberal parents. Authority seems suspect and almost immoral.
I think that the right has just as many of us who have an issue with authority, but we also have common sense. And if we're in a doctor's office because our child is sick, we're going to force our kids to show the doctor what's going on.
All I know is when I fight authority, authority always wins.
Okay.
You know? I've been doing it since I was a young kid.
Oh, yeah?
And I come out grinning. But when I fight authority, authority always wins. Yeah. These parents will take the view that I cannot compel my child to take on any obligation that they have not freely chosen. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my.
Oh, man.
And you wonder how we got to where we are.
Right. It's like these parents who are doing this new genderless child thing and letting them discover what gender they are, no matter what kind of gender they actually are. they get to choose, and we're not going to assign it to them at birth. So, we're going to let them decide when they're 5 or 6 or whatever, whether they're a boy or a girl.
But again,
or something else.
Same parents. If you went to them and said, okay, so you're not letting the kids, you're waiting for the kid to decide what gender they are.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to let them wait to decide if they're going to wear a bike helmet as well? Around the block, riding their bike, to wear a seatbelt or not.
You'd have to.
Get in a car seat or not. You're going to let them decide all this?
Asinine.
What a mad, mad world.
Kids need boundaries, according to Dr. Sachs. They need structure. They need guidance. Letting kids make all the big decisions without guardrails, the result often is kids who are adrift who become anxious and depressed. Not to mention the other thing that goes on is, filling their heads full of climate change nonsense, scaring the crap out of them. Of course they're depressed when they think we only have a few years left on this planet before we're all destroyed.
Yeah, and now we've done that with COVID, too.
Sure have.
Got to wear a mask in the shower if you want to see another day, young Billy.
Man, rapidly changing cultural trends have had profound effects on children, exacerbated heavily by access to social media. Indeed. And then when you have parents who allow their children to run the household, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, man.
This is a fun era that our nation is rapidly transitioning into. It's going to be fun from here on out, y'all. I can just taste the fun. Just right there.
Yep.
We are...
Fud's the right word for it.
We are so screwed.
Some hope in Europe.
Well, in Europe, they know what they're doing. In Europe.
Wait, we're looking to Europe for hope?
Yes.
Yeah, we're done.
I mean, listen to this. Switzerland refuses to recommend the vaccine further injections during the spring and summer season this year, including for people at high risk of becoming seriously ill from the virus. Here's what they said. Listen to, if this sounds like a little bit of common sense, I can't believe it's coming from Europe and Switzerland in particular. Nearly everyone in Switzerland has been vaccinated and or contracted and recovered from COVID-19. So their bodies have already, been, they've already become accustomed to the disease and will be able to fight it off. And so they're saying that it's likely that even if you get COVID-19, it's going to be fairly mild.
Oh, okay.
Are they the only nation on earth that has noodled that out based on all the evidence we have?
No, I mean, a lot of countries. The United States is, of course, the only ones that are completely divorced from reality. But a lot of countries are pulling back on these recommendations.
It's about time.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know all the details here, but I just know Pfizer had a lawsuit in Britain where they just lost because they didn't fully disclose the risks, I think to children, maybe? I don't know all the details of that one. But
wait, I thought there were no risks to children.
Right. That's what,
Safe and effective.
What a crazy court.
Yeah.
No,
that's nuts.
But I think they have to release all their information now or something, their safety stuff. And I know that there was one safety thing, and I forgot who this was, if it was Pfizer as well, that they realized that there were over 300 different patients whose information just didn't show up in a study. It's like, hey, what did you do with... so what happened to those individuals? Why are they missing from the follow-up study? I mean, it's so bad. But here's the thing, Pat. You can ban all these mRNA injections from humans all you want. Have you heard that several states are getting ready to inject both cows and pigs with mRNA? So you're going to get it in your system one way or another.
I have not heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I hope you know...
Wow.
Someone who is can locally, and I mean hyper-locally, source your beef and your pork.
Yeah, if you don't want it in your system, yeah. Oh, wow.
I mean, we don't...
That's incredible.
We don't know the full effects of getting this mRNA into our system, but we know enough to know that some of us never, ever, ever want to be exposed to it. And I don't want to hear about, well, we have some new cancer fighting ways. We could use mRNA technology for that and all this stuff. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want any mRNA in me whatsoever. I don't care what you promise it can do.
Wow, that's extreme.
Yeah, well, I've been there before, and
yeah, that's extreme,
I was right,
Keith. Why do you hate? Why are you such a bigot? I'm
not.
Clearly, that's white supremacy.
I'm not
right there. That's just clear white supremacy.
I don't know how you got there, but I'm not there on the white supremacy, but I'm there on being a hater for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Also, former NCAA women's swimming star Riley Gaines was ambushed and hit by a man wearing a dress at San Francisco State University last week after giving a speech about saving women's sports during a Turning Point USA and Leadership Institute event on the campus. Gaines' agent said instead of a thoughtful discussion tonight at San Francisco State University, Riley was violently accosted, shouted at, physically assaulted, and barricaded in a room by protesters.
Huh. For 3 hours she was stuck there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And
oh, man.
Does that story say how San Francisco State, the administrators there, they supported the people that attacked her?
Oh, you got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. No, not at all. Isn't that fun? That's fun.
Sure is.
Yep. So she's filing suit against these people. And did you see that the Supreme Court had a chance to take a stand on allowing boys? Yeah,
and they didn't.
They're like, nah.
And they didn't.
In this crazy conservative court that was it AOC referenced earlier in the show? Mm-hmm. This crazy conservative court that refused to take a stand against boys infiltrating girls' sports. The only two dissenters were Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito.
Wow.
Crazy conservative court that refused to save girls' sports.
That's unreal.
At the same time,
that is unreal.
The Biden administration is, of course, saying that, trans can totally be a part. If you want your federal funding, then you're going to have to let trans do your girls' sports. I mean, Title IX is just... What is more decimated at this point, Title IX or the U.S. Constitution? It's a toss-up.
Well, that's pretty close, yeah. Jeez. She was hit multiple times by a guy in a dress. She said, I was shaking. It made me that mad. It makes me sick to feel so helpless about it. She was under police protection and was still hit by a man wearing a dress. Plus, they were shouting all kinds of things at her. Effing B and calling her a transphobe and all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure they were doing it out of love, however,
yeah, sure.
Because we are apparently the ones who hate, right?
Remember, her big crime was having to, by speaking out after having to be subjected to William Thomas's danglers hanging out. Leah Thomas. Sorry, I dead named him. My bad. And for wanting women's sports to be sacred.
Yeah.
She is assaulted, has to hide out in a closet for 3 hours.
Fearing for her life. From the trans mob.
And then this school then defends the mob that did this to her. And can I just take a moment here? A lot of people have been informing me of a lawmaker named Marvin Robinson. He's a Democrat. He's a representative in Kansas who was the deciding vote to ban trans kids from sports in that state. So now he's the focus of the crazy woke mob
they
left.
Must hate his
they
guts.
hate it. They hate him.
And, they're coming for him.
Yeah, and as this tweet from a trans activist says, here's the guy. Here he is, Marvin Robinson. Here's his office number. We got more trans rights bills that he's going to be voting on. Let him know how you feel. Well, maybe you should let him know how you feel and say thank you for defending female sports.
Yep.
785 is his phone number.
We got your back.
Yeah. Marvin Robinson, 785-296-8763. 785-296-8763. Thank you, Marvin Robinson, for standing on the side of common sense.
It's nice because we can make a difference by showing that there are more people that support him than oppose him, so that it strengthens them. Sometimes you feel so alone when you're under attack like that. You just think you're the only person in the world. So I'm sure it would help a lot. And
he's going to hear from his base until they continue to vote for these bills, and they're going to make his life a living hell.
Unbelievable.
So show him. We'll tweet this out so you can have access to his phone number, because he needs to know that he has support from right-thinking Americans, too.
All right. We've got Overtime coming up. That'll be posted at 11 Central Time, and then we'll be right back here with you tomorrow on Pat Gray Unleashed. See you then.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.